All right, so imagine this. What if your entire past was a complete mystery, and the only clue you had to unlock it was just one single, really cryptic note? Well, that's exactly the setup at the heart of Nicholas Sparks' novel, Counting Miracles. It's a story all about searching for a past you never even knew you had, and, finding a future you absolutely never saw coming. So, this is it. This is literally all our main character, Tanner Hughes, has to go on. His grandmother gave it to him just before she passed away, and it's the only lead he has to find the father he's never, ever met. You've got a name, a town, and this weird apology. And believe me, this one little piece of paper, it's about to kick off a journey that will completely change everything for him.
So who is this guy, Tanner Hughes? Well, you could say he's kind of a professional wanderer. I mean, we're talking 14 years in the elite Delta Force, and then another 6 with USAID, working in some really tough spots like Cameroon and Haiti. His best friend is constantly telling him he's just postponing his life, just jumping from one crisis to the next without ever actually settling down. Get this, the man has never even owned a home. Can you imagine?
And then you've got Dr. Caitlin Cooper, whose life is a complete 180 from Tanner's. I mean, he's this rootless guy searching for his past, right? Well, she's a healer, and she is deeply anchored to her hometown of Asheboro. She's a dedicated doctor, a divorced mom with 2 kids. Her whole world revolves around her family and her community. We're talking 2 people on totally different tracks in life, and well, they're about to crash right into each other.
So, how exactly do these 2 different worlds collide? Well, it happens in a way that is just classic Nicholas Sparks, It all kicks off in a bar. Tanner sees a young woman in trouble, his old Delta Force instincts fire up, and he steps in. Turns out that young woman is Caitlin's daughter, Casey. She gets spooked, tries to make a quick getaway, and ends up losing control of her car and slams right into Tanner's prized Shelby GT500. And just like that, his search for his past gets all tangled up in Caitlin's very complicated present.
Now, to really get a feel for who Caitlin is, you have to understand her guiding principle. It's something her dad taught her. She has this belief that every single week should kick off with some act of generosity. And this isn't just a nice thought. It guides everything she does, from her job as a doctor to her time volunteering at the local food bank. It's really the core of who she is, and it perfectly represents that stable, grounded world that Tanner is about to walk into.
Okay, but it's not just about Tanner and Caitlin. There's this third, really mysterious piece to the whole puzzle. A reclusive, scarred old man named Jasper. He lives totally alone in a cabin deep in the woods, just keeping to himself. His only real connection to anyone is Caitlin's little boy Mitch. He whittles these amazing little wooden animals for him. So yeah, his life is kind of connected to theirs, but his own past, that's a huge, painful secret. And there's a heavy reason why Jasper lives the way he does. His whole life is built around a tragedy that's just almost impossible to imagine. It all started with a fire. In one night, a horrific fire took almost everything from him. His wife, his son David, and both of his daughters. But the horror didn't even end there. His one surviving son, Paul, was so overwhelmed with guilt that he later took his own life. We're talking about a man who lost his entire world, leaving him with scars you can see and many more that you can't. And this, right here, is where everything starts to come together. Think about it. You've got Tanner, who's in town looking for a man named Dave Johnson. And then you have Jasper, a man who lost his family and now lives completely cut off from the world. Is it possible these 2 incredibly different stories are actually connected? Could this quiet, heartbroken old man really hold the key to Tanner's entire past?
And then it happens. The final piece of the puzzle just clicks right into place. The local sheriff sits Tanner down and tells him the whole gut-wrenching story of what happened to Jasper. And in that story is one absolutely crucial detail. The son who died in that fire all those years ago, his name was David. And there it is, the big revelation. Tanner realizes that David Johnson was Jasper's son. Tanner Hughes is Jasper's grandson. He came all this way to Asheboro, searching for his dad, but what he ended up finding was something so much more profound, a family he had no idea even existed. But of course, just as Tanner finally makes this life-changing connection, everything goes horribly wrong. Out in the Uwharrie National Forest, Jasper comes across 3 teenagers who are legally hunting a rare white deer. He confronts them and things turn violent. Fast. They attack him, shoot his dog, Arlo, and just leave the old man for dead out in the middle of nowhere.
But Jasper's dog, Arlo, manages to get away. Wounded, he makes his way all the way to Caitlin's house and gets Tanner's attention. He leads Tanner deep into the woods, and that's where he finds him, the grandfather he literally just found out he had, barely alive. In this just incredible moment, Tanner carries the old man out of the forest, basically fighting to save the future he just discovered.
So this whole ordeal forces Tanner to a massive crossroads in his life. He has a choice to make. He can go back to the life he knows, the job waiting for him in Cameroon, a life of constant moving, a purpose, yeah, but with no real connections. Or he can choose a brand new future right here in Ashboro. It's a completely unknown path and probably a little terrifying, but it's a path that offers him a real chance at family with Jasper and something deep and real with Caitlin.
And as his grandfather starts to recover, they finally begin to connect, to actually talk. And Jasper shares this really beautiful piece of wisdom with Tanner. He basically says that all the pain he feels from his loss, it's just proof of how much love was there to begin with. A broken heart means that at one point it was completely full. It's a powerful lesson, right? About how you have to be willing to risk the pain of loss to experience the joy of love. And you know what? Tanner really takes that lesson to heart. He makes his choice. The job in Cameroon, he lets it go. He decides to stay in Ashboro. He's choosing family, he's choosing connection, and he goes to see Caitlin. And in this really hopeful, vulnerable moment, he tells her that they need to start over, for real this time. And this really brings us right to the core question of the whole novel. You look at Tanner, Caitlin, and Jasper. All three of them have been handed this incredible second chance, a chance to build something new and beautiful out of the wreckage of their pasts. But it leaves you with this question, right? Can a new beginning, even with a new family and a new love, ever truly heal the deepest scars? It really makes you think about just how resilient the human heart can be.